Seems like it was only yesterday we were here at Nashville Superspeedway for race number 4 of the 1UP Turbo Truck Series season in 2026, but here we are today for race number 5 at Nashville. Same place, same race, but a whole new cast of characters up front. 70 laps on tap today, and we've got some unlikely heroes leading the field to green this time around. We'll see how many of them can hang up there out front, and who can come from the back, who finished well in race 1 yesterday, to get another good finish this time around. And once again, alongside me in the booth to bring you all the action for today's race, James Ellison and Ryan Griffin, the latter of whom making his final appearance, for now, in the Turbo Truck Series booth in today's race. Great to have both of you here. If yesterday was anything to go off of, today I expect to be even better than the first.
Absolutely, especially considering, like you said, all new cast of characters starting up at the front and just the top 10 alone. A lot of these drivers we normally talk about, we're talking about them running mid-pack at best, but here's their chance to be talked about and shine a little bit. Meanwhile, we talked about the invert. We're gonna have a lot of fun seeing who of the finishers, including yesterday's top 5, who are starting all the way back as far as 41st, are gonna how hard they're gonna be fighting to get back up front.
If yesterday is fun, watching them dice around and shuffle through the field was fun to watch, well, this is just ratcheted up times 10 because we get to do it a second time. It's going to be fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to watch primarily to watch the guys that ran so well, including race winner Blaine Saylor, try to come through the field. Now, they've already done it once. Saylor, of course, started 18th in race 1 and was able to make it to the front. But he's starting near double what he started the first race. That's what's going to make it fun. And how long do these guys up front get to shine and be in the spotlight before these guys that ran so well in the first race overtake them? And this is just me just saying this as a fan getting to watch this. Not so much, a commentator and all, but to be as a fan, you're going to want to watch this race. This is going to be fun.
It was fun yesterday. It'll be just as fun today, no doubt about that. But with that being said, we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 70 laps of action, and sure enough, we took 41 drivers who finished on the lead lap yesterday, invert all of them for the start of today's race, and that puts Lee Muse for Craigo Autosport on pole position for the first time in his career. We have Clayton Sessom alongside him in the Heatwave Automotive 26. Audrey Ansack, man, she had a nightmare of a race yesterday. Went 2 laps down on 2 separate occasions, still managed to rebound for a lead lap finish to start 3rd today. Stephen Myers in the 21 for Vice Valley Motorsports starting 4th. And how about Samit Ozkin and Brantley Gage? This is their first race weekend of the season for both of those guys, and they start 5th and 7th for today's race. Great showings from those guys, but how, like we said earlier, how long are they able to hold on to it?
Yeah, that's going to be the key thing. And with this being the first races of the year for Ozkin and Gage, this is going to be their chance to show that they don't belong fighting to see if they make the show. They need to be able to get in this, be able to race and have fun with it. And you got others like Noel LeBlanc doing it, and Ryan Vasquez, Josh Gibson, Jurgen Stoyan, Vince Freeze. He's had flash success. Didn't exactly have. He had a pretty quiet day yesterday, but starting up here, he has a chance to really show that he's not just an every now and then driver.
On the flip side of it, as much as we're going to be talking about these guys, if you look on the flip side of it, the guys that ran so well yesterday, in obviously our race winner Saylor, but look at Tanner Browning. I'm curious to see what he does in the 55. I'm curious to see what Elijah in the 13, what they're going to do. Because they showed speed yesterday, and now they're going to try to see if you can carry that speed in today. And whose trucks might have changed yesterday versus today? We might see some guys that were that their trucks kind of handled better at the end of the race yesterday, but that didn't have the track position to show it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that as this one goes off today.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see who can hang on from the front, who can come from the back to the front. There's so many stories to keep our eye on, and we're looking forward to bringing all of them to you live. But with that being said, we've got 42 drivers ready to take the second win of the weekend, and we're ready to bring you that action now. It's the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series doubleheader part number 2, and the green flag getting set to get this great race underway just a short while now. Getting set for something unpredictable here at Nashville. It is Muse and Sessa Monroe 1. The green flag's out. We're racing again. Second day in a row here at Nashville. Looks like someone went way high on the start. That looks like Noah LeBlanc in the 85. We'll see what he can do from further back in the field. They're 4 wide and we got a crash on the first corner. And it's Archer Shriak and Noah LeBlanc. Something tells me they tried to force it 4 wide and there just wasn't room for all 4 of them.
That's exactly what it looked like. They started to go forward. That's the downside of having this kind of thing go on, is you have a chance to show it. As we see, it looks like racing to the caution here, it's going to be Anzac taking advantage of her better starting position, and you really hate that. You get the chance to shine after the inversion, and well, that's one of the prices you pay, especially considering that's the first caution of the weekend.
Yeah, we ran the first race so clean, and again, everybody's antsy because we just had one race, and you got the guys starting up front that don't normally get to start up front, that want to show it a little bit. And I guess somebody just tried to force a hole that wasn't there, either that or slid up into a truck that was already on the outside, and 2 trucks get together down there in turn 1, and 2 damaged trucks. It looks like at least the 61 has continued on. I think the 85 has as well. We'll see if that... Nope, the 61, they are going to pull it into the garage. And that's unfortunate, You didn't even really make a lap before
it's all over. It's all over for Archer Shriak, who had such a strong effort in getting a good starting spot. He started 6th, but sure enough, I think what happened was these guys were trying to go 4 wide on the start, trying to get some positions early. So this was the initial start of the race. Noah LeBlanc immediately jumped to the outside. That was the first domino to touch off this race. Ryan Vasquez immediately jumped low. That's what set off the 4 wide. I don't think LeBlanc knew Vasquez was doing that, and Gage and Shriak just got pinched in the middle with disastrous consequences for the 61.
Yeah, he was the unfortunate victim of that whole deal, but you move on from this no matter where you normally run on the field, but it's a shame for Shriak.
The other thing is that lucky nobody else was caught up in it. It was just a 2-truck deal, and they got very lucky that they didn't catch anybody else up in that where they were running right at the front of the field. It's like lucky you were the bigger incident.
So it looks like everybody's actually come down pit road here for at least fuel, maybe even a fresh set of tires. All but
That's
one.
Interesting.
All but one. Samit Ozkin in the plane number 2 for Labyrinth Motorsports. This is a team owned by Curtis Stevenson, making their first race weekend of the season, and they're now leading the race on account of being the only truck to have not pitted under this caution flag.
That is a gamble, but important points, especially for a team that is their first start of the season. So we'll have to see how well this pays off as we see everybody come up here. It looks like it was just gas and go for everybody here. So, well, at least almost everybody. We don't know for sure.
Looks like all the Vice Valley trucks exited together, 21, 43, and 7.
Looked like the big gainer that I saw, at least through the stops, was Samantha Jade's 25 truck. It looks like she gained at least a couple of spots through this.
As you see, Noah LeBlanc still on pit road, assessing damage on his truck. We expect him to get back out there. See if he can beat the pace truck out and stay on the lead lap, because I think we're going to get the 1-to-go signal this time to hopefully get this race restarted momentarily. But LeBlanc's team's got to hurry up because they're coming around the tri-oval, and he is, I think, still on pit road. We'll have to see. Yeah, the lights go out on the safety vehicle, and I think, LeBlanc is going to beat the pace car out.
That's a sigh of relief for LeBlanc and the whole 85 crew, but probably going to be up to what speed he had capable of. But it's a shame. He and he and Shryock are not going to get to show what they are capable of up the front while the cream has yet to rise to the top from the back of the field.
Was correct. Looking at that sequence when they came off pit road, Samantha J, big gain on pit road. She's now third. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on this well, I guess you could say the first real restart. I mean, we've seen the start of the race yesterday, but this is the first real restart, the first incident we've seen so far this weekend. So we'll see what happens here, and also we'll see how the tire difference is. I mean, the two staying out basically on the tires that he started the race on, while everybody else is on basically about 3-4 lap fresher tires. So we'll see what the difference that makes here. The base truck will make its way to pit road.
We're about to find out. Samit Ozkin leading his first truck race of the season, well, his first weekend of the season. He raced yesterday, of course. We're going back up to speed. We're racing once again, and it looks like Lee Muse in the 16 did not get a good restart. Jade and Anzac are already swarming him from behind, but that's given Samit Ozkin a huge advantage, and he is easily going to lead the field through 1 and 2.
And while Anzac and Jade are fighting side by side, Stoyan trying to figure out where to go there. As we look further back in the field, we see that, looks like Muse was able to get a second win despite, now under pressure from the A3, but it's got a second win a little too late. Here comes the 51 now. 3 wide.
Yes, 3 wide for second place. Stoyan sending it off in there. I'm so impressed by the level of racing we're seeing.
There's the contact there between Anzac and Muse going into that as they were in the middle, 1 and 2. Starting again, the 51 with Jade on his bumper.
Don't do it.
Yeah, I think Jade realized what happened on the initial start, stayed in line, but Stoyan's now going to jump all the way up to second spot. Really strong restart from the 51. Oh, but we got contact in the back, and we got another spin. It's Mitchell Carter. It's Jeremy Frey. How did everyone miss that?
How was that not a pile up?
I think he might have caught the 52, but I think that was the only truck he caught. And both between Carter and Turner was the other one that was in the grass. I don't know how. Oh, and he's off the wall. He is not happy, I don't think.
He's trying to reclaim his position, but ironically enough, more heart palpitations for Cale Tescar Jr. because he sideswiped his own teammate trying to regain his position there. But Jochen Stoyan leads the field back to the caution flag. Oh, this is going to take a little while to sort out. We went caution-free all of yesterday, and we've already had 2 wrecks in the first 10 laps today.
Well, I hate to interrupt you for a second, Allison, but this is why I say, it's when you got people starting up front and you got these fast guys starting in the back, you get this little meeting in the middle, and you get this stack up where these guys are, and we're coming back to pit road. I mean,
Yeah, but what they're trying to do here, they're trying to just top these things off with fuel enough so that they can make the remaining 61 laps of this race with only 1 more stop. If they stayed out here, they were going to have to pit twice more. But coming in once again here, I think they're going to try and make it on 1 more stop from this point.
And as I was saying, is you get these fast guys that are back in the pack that are going to try to charge their way because they know they're in the back, and they lose. Granted, yes, it's 75 laps, but it's still a minimum amount of time. They're trying to charge their way to the front, and this is what can happen. And as much as I didn't want to see this happen, it's always that fear in your back of your mind when you get fast guys stuck at the back of the field trying to make up spots, that stuff like this can happen. And it's unfortunate that we've had 2 incidents so far in the first 10 laps of this race after being caution-free in the first race.
I hate to interrupt again, but we've got a gambler. It's Santi Messi. He's done something different to the rest of the field.
Right, too.
Yeah, he exits the pits as the leader by a big margin. Looks like our front row starters, Muse and Sessom, are having a bit of a hard time getting out of their pits. Sessom leaves finally. Muse, I expect to follow him out, and there he goes. But this is going to shake things up once again on the restart. We've got a fast truck and Messi leading them back now. And we're going to get you a look at what happened with Mitchell Carter here in a moment. But, man, how was that not a bigger accident than it turned out to be? So this was Mitchell Carter going into turn 3. He might be getting a little bit of help. Oh, yeah, Turner got all sideways out of 4. Got into Sessom, and that just touched off a chain reaction. Carter into Frey. Wow, Austin Scott had to slam on the brakes to avoid piling into the back of the 28, but that was a very impressive job from everybody involved there to not pile in and touch off a huge crash.
Yeah, that's a good bit of driving there by a lot of people here, and as we see right here, looking again, he was not happy. I don't know who he thought he had to blame there, but hopefully he knows the truth by now.
I was going to say, it's again to my point about the slow trucks and fast trucks kind of coming together. Sessom had an incident or something that caused him to check up. And when he checked up, Turner behind him also had to check up, and he tried to duck low. And at the same time, Carter had Frey to his inside just a little bit, and they all came together. And man, Mitchell Carter, the wheelman he is, to first of all straighten his truck out, and then having somebody better go get those 4-leaf clovers out of his pocket, because he definitely had some clovers on him to be able to avoid getting hit by basically the entire field.
That could have been ugly, but Mitchell Carter hung on to it, and that is very impressive from him. But I would expect we're going to get a restart here, probably within the next 2 laps. So Santi Messi's now out in front, and he was strong yesterday. He started down in 34th for today's race. But we'll see what he can do now out front. Jeremy Frey, another one that had a strong day. He started 1 spot ahead of Messi today. Brandon Beal, we haven't seen what the 88 can do yet at the front of the field, and that's a really good truck. So I'm curious to see what comes out of that once we get this restart.
And we're looking back here at some of the drivers who have yet to have a chance to try something. I think that's one of the reasons why Messi and Frey and their crews, respective crews, made the gamble they did, as the lights should come off here on the truck. And yeah, there they go. This is going to be interesting because you got Messi and Frey, 2 good, strong trucks from yesterday. And then you got all these other drivers that are just trying to, take advantage of where they are. If we can get a good long green stretch, we might be able to finally see some more of those good trucks come up to the front.
Yeah, the other thing is too is now you got Messi and Frey who were strong yesterday. How much of a gap can they pull to get a bit of distance between themselves and some of the front runners from yesterday who still have to work their way through the field? If we stay green, that's definitely something to keep an eye on, is the gaps, and see who can close those gaps and who can stretch those gaps. So it's going to be fun to watch. I mean, granted, yes, we've had 2 incidents to start this race, but it's been wild to start it. And I think we wanted to see action. We just didn't want to see this kind of action.
I'm going to be interested in what this 88 can do. Brandon Beal, he's a teammate to Curtis Stevenson. He has he's got a fast truck. He just didn't get the track position yesterday to show for it. But he's now up in the 3rd position, and I'm very curious to see what the 88's capable of. Coming to this restart, pace truck's off. We're getting ready to roll again to head to caution number 2 on lap number 13. Green flag's back out. We're racing again.
Yeah, of course, Messi getting a big start. Beal, most importantly, did not let Frey get away. Frey did not get as good of a start as Beal. Messi. Beal, or Beal actually, because the 88's the inside of him. But this is good for these guys to have a chance to have some front, as you see Oskin and Stoyan and a few others here trying to see what they can do here. Oskin actually going after Frey here. I don't think Frey had the best restart, but he has a chance to rebound here. But already Beal going for the lead. You talk about what his teammates been able to do. Let's see what he can do.
And I guess we're going to see here, and again, we still have these guys at the front, the 2 and the 57, the 5, the guys that we don't normally get to talk about that are still right up here. So let's keep an eye on them as well. Let them have their time in the spotlight right now until they eventually get shuffled.
Well, keep in mind as well, Zach Fry did not, in that 5 truck, he did not start at the front of the field. He was down in 21st to start this race. So he's got a pretty good truck for Aztec Motorsports going on there. And he's making some headway. He started, like I said, down in 21st. He's already up into the top 10. We'll see if the 5 can hang in there, because I see Robert Weaver back there. He had a strong truck yesterday. And this guy, Ricky LaFleur in the 72. This guy I was so impressed with yesterday, and looks like he's proving it once again, because he has already fought his way to the top 10 at this starting 29th today.
Yeah, he's among the first who didn't use pitch strategy to go ahead and get up front to really start to make some moves, but he was closer to the front than everybody else, so he hasn't come up here yet as Messi goes back to the lead here. But back to LaFleur, he is impressing, and I think he's just trying to prove that Roberts Racing made the smart choice putting him in that 72.
I really wanted to say this for the last race, yesterday's race, but this series has a habit of getting guys in it that are able to just count and fire off right away, right from the get-go. And we may have found another one in this 72 truck that could be another name we see further on down the road. So, and I'm sure the team owners take note. This is where the talent is. You know, the Nitro team owners, the Superstar team owners take note. This is where your talent is. This is where your feeder is. You know, come get the talent from here, because I guarantee these guys will show up as they come through the ranks. And you know, we'll see more later on and see as guys continue to grow. And it's definitely fun to watch this series and see these guys develop, as he's going to try to take this second position now.
I was going to say, look at him go. He has made it from 10th to 3rd in about a lap and a half. This 72 has been flying, and this guy's going to be behind the wheel in this truck for all the standalone races this year for the Truck Series. His next appearance will be at the Springfield Mile, but LaFleur is turning a lot of heads very quickly. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes after Messi here before too long to try and lead this race.
And watch out for Muccioli back there in the 7. Talk about Vice Valley. He is putting on a show. Got by Anzac Beal. Gonna have to take a little bit of patience to get away from Anzac to get after Frey. And look at LaFleur go. I said it. He is proving that Roberts made the right choice for him in the standalone races.
Also, I mentioned him yesterday, and I see him again because I'm looking at the running room. Started 32nd today. That one truck, Eric Monaco. Keep an eye on that one truck. He is definitely showing me, at least through these previous 2 races, that they definitely have, the previous 3 technically, but they definitely have speed in that one truck.
And he's got his teammate right there with him, Samantha Jade in the 25. As look at Jeremy Frey go. He's taking the lead now in this race with a push from Alan Muccioli. You were talking about him earlier. And this shouldn't be surprising anymore for the 7 truck. Muccioli's put in some super powerful runs for Vice Valley Motorsports. He just hasn't had the finishes to show for it, but he's gotten the lead right here on this. At this point, he's got it momentarily, but I think Audrey Anzac's going to try and take it away from him back here.
Yeah, we talked about her. She's taking advantage of that starting spot and getting in the spotlight while she can, because as more of yesterday's top 10, top 15, top 20 finishers start making their way up to the front and showing how strong their trucks are, as we see Griffin, one of your guys here, Jesse Turner. We didn't speak much about him yesterday. Here he is in the lead now, passing Anzac.
I was going to say, they didn't run so hot yesterday. They hung around kind of mid-20s, kind of not really ran that great. And obviously, the bigger thing I noticed, he was just in that incident that we talked about with Mitchell Carter. He was involved in that incident, went through the grass a little bit.
A bit of a slide back there for Zach Fry. That was Zach Fry and whoever was directly behind him. That might have been the 59 of Hamill again. But
what I was getting at is, it's funny that Hamill just had that little deal there. You know, the 59 ran so well yesterday.
And look at here, the 66. 66 ran well yesterday, too. And the 02.
Well, I wonder if the reason Turner is running good is now he's in the clean air like Hamill was yesterday, and now they're starting to show that the trucks are good out in clean air. But, yeah, man, look at this. They're 3 wide here. Anzac, Frey, the 2.
And Sam Oskin
I do see Hamill back there too is coming. It was Hamill in the 5 that it looked like might have got together, because I see him running together there.
As LaFleur once again going for the race lead, he is impressing, but Sam Oskin is impressing me in that 2 truck back there. He is making, like we said, his first appearance of the season. He had a pretty rough day yesterday, but he's making the most of track position today. He's been running in the top 10, top 5 pretty much all day, and he's still hanging in there, and we're already over a third of the way through this race.
I am impressed with Oskin, and of course, that two truck needed something. They made this race taking advantage of
Oh, look who's coming though! It's our friends from yesterday. It's our friends from yesterday.
Run from it. Dread it. Blaine Saylor wants another one.
And Stevenson's there too. Don't count him out yet.
Yeah, that's not surprising in the slightest, really. As yeah, he's got a little bit of work to do, but he's gonna get up there. Of course, I'm not surprised to see Walsh up here as well.
And I was going to add more to that point that it's actually all four of them. You see Wells and Hamler there with Stevenson and Saylor. You know, that was your top 4, top 5 runners yesterday. So they've all migrated their way through the field. As we said, how long was it going to take? Well, about maybe a third of the race to get close to the top 10. Well, Stevenson currently scored 10th there, so it took about a third of the race to get into the top 10.
Yeah, Stevenson's already there, and Saylor's only one spot out. So this is impressive. The 98 and the 08, these guys, we talked about
them. 92 as well.
Yeah, but I'm focusing on the 98 and the 08 because we talked about these two a lot last year, being guys that needed to prove themselves, get that first career win. Well, now they've both done that, and they're both championship contenders this season. Should we really be surprised at this point? As meanwhile, AF Walsh, another strong contender from yesterday, gets his first lead of the day.
I said it a few years ago with Kev Shear. I said you could tell a lot by how a guy runs the year prior to the following year. You look at their previous year, and to the point with the 98 and the 08, these guys proved that they were race winners. All they needed was to break that door down. And so far this season, I think that's equivalent of what we saw with DJ Curtis and Paul Villalobos when he drove the 66. I think that you're looking at your two players for the championship right now. I know it's early to say that. We're only, this is the 5th race. We're only 5 races into the season. But I am almost want to say that those two are going to be 2 of your players by the time we get to the playoffs.
It's going to be hard to argue against that because look at this. Curtis Stevenson's already up to the top 5. Blaine Saylor up to 6th. David Wells is following them as well in the 92. He's been a contender pretty much every race. And you've got to bear in mind as well, Curtis Stevenson and David Wells have finished in the top 5 in the first 4 races this season. They started 38th and 40th today. They're on pace to get another top 5 to start the season with 5 consecutive top 5 finishes.
Yeah, that's big to start seeing. You talked about the 66.
Oh, we got a crash in the back. It's Jeremy Frey and it's Austin Scott.
And somehow nobody else got involved. That's big. You hate it for Frey, for sure.
I'm gonna say that's unfortunate for Frey, who was running near the front again. He was able to recover and was running near the front. And it's unfortunate that I don't think this day is going to end the way they wanted it to.
No, they're going to try and get him back out there, try and salvage a few points, but definitely not the day that Jeremy Frey was hoping for, not by a long shot. But we're under caution once again. This is our 3rd of the day. We're rapidly approaching halfway. I think these guys are going to try and come down pit road here. They're probably not going to make it to the end from here, but fresh tires do mean a lot.
They do indeed, especially with the kind of action we've been seeing, regardless of tire and fuel strategy. It's been real exciting, and now that we started to see some of the best of the
we got a couple guys back here with some damage. We got Kadir Yashov in the 99, Di Lorenzo, Tanner Browning in the 55, Robert Weaver. So many trucks back here with damage. I wonder if there was a big stack up slowing down for the yellow. These guys just had nowhere to go.
See a few crumpled hoods. I wouldn't say so much for like the 10 or some of the others, but I thought for sure I saw a couple of crumpled hoods that might have been the unintended influencers of the stack up that we have yet to check out on.
A little bit of a 3 wide as they come off pit road. Saylor, Wells, Side by side, they had the 85 that was to
Yeah,
their
Browning's out of the
outside
race
there.
from that damage, and he was doing so well yesterday. I think Robert Weaver also out of the race. Samantha Jade out of the race. Very tough break for. We've got more cars retiring from that stack up than we did what brought out the caution in the first place.
It's unfortunate, and yeah. Unfortunately, DeLorenzo's second race with the team not gonna fare so well, but at least he'll be able to finish, and San Vital looks like got caught up in it as well. So quite a few drivers who are going to get to continue, but not going to get the results they were hoping for as we roll around again under pace laps.
So this is coming out of turn 4. Frey was actually running in the top 10. He was doing a pretty solid job coming across the line here to start a new lap. Oh, look! Oh yeah, he had a problem with the truck. That was a dramatic slowdown in front of the entire field. He had a mechanical issue with that truck, and Austin Scott was just the poor soul that got trapped behind him.
Yeah, you hate that for Scott. You hate that for Frey. But those things can happen, and we've seen it. It's an unfortunate part of racing, but what can you do when it happens and you have no control?
Well, it's interesting because I noticed it looked like you could see like the flame pop out of the exhaust. I wonder if he had to downshift or something, but it's like he downshifted for something, let off and burp it for a second, and it was enough for him to get kind of hit from behind. And once you get hit from behind going into a corner, there's no saving it.
And then this was the oh yeah, that was a big stack up. Started with Cal Farrell, Samantha Jade piled in, Van Heerden, Sessom. Yeah, a lot of trucks piled into that. Tough break for... Oh, Ayers gets into the back of Scott a little bit. But, yeah, this is not what any of these guys were hoping for. We usually see this at places like Daytona or Talladega. But, I mean, we've had similar racing to what we've seen at Daytona and Talladega. But this part of the race, I was not hoping to see.
Yeah, there's quite a few drivers definitely not hoping to see it, but none more than the ones who ended up retiring from the race as a result. So just get ready to move on. For them, it's just a matter of getting ready to move on for Bristol now. But for those who are still in the race, there's still quite a bit left to find out.
Yeah, so your running order at this point, we got AF Walsh the leader, and you got Beal is in second. Logan Jones again was such a player yesterday. Of course, Cam Stevenson, we already know how much of a player he's been. The 7's still a factor. Turner's still a factor. But then you still got an underdog up here. This 57 truck is still hanging around this top 10, not going away.
And Saylor right behind him.
And Saylor behind him, and so on and so forth. But again, it just goes to show you keep your nose clean sometimes. These guys that start near the front that we're trying to take advantage of starting near the front. There's still a couple of them up here.
Certainly, and I would expect we would get the one-to-go signal here to go back racing at the halfway point of this race. We're approaching that point now. Yeah, the lights are out. We're on lap 35, exactly half race distance, and Jeremy Frey is coming back to pit road, maybe for a little more repair work, maybe to top it off with fuel. Either way, he's going to have the race to make the restart.
Yeah, that's again a tough break for him. We were really enjoying watching him run good here, and well, this you take, like I said, you take what you can, salvage what you can if you're able to continue racing, and move on to the next one. Which we know how Bristol can be sometimes, but it's been pretty tough on some people here in this second race here at Nashville. But we still got a lot of racing to see, not only who will win, but who will finish where.
That's the thing. We still got to figure out and see some more shuffling. You know, you still got another half of this race to go, so there could be still some more shufflers. There could be some more guys that are players that we don't see yet until, give it a few laps.
You see Frey, he's going to take his place on the inside in the lap down lane. He's going to get there right as the pace truck pulls off. He's going to have really warm tires for this restart. This could really work out in his favor here. I know he's 2 laps down. Yeah, we're coming to the restart. He's still getting up to speed, and he's going to easily clear everybody as we come to the restart.
Yeah,
That
he's
could
two down.
salvage something
Technically,
from
he's
there.
one down.
Of
Yeah,
course,
the only thing he would need is a quick caution, which I know nobody else wants that, but
I mean, if he gets a caution right this second, he'd get back on the lead lap somehow from all that. But with the damage he's got, he's gonna need that. He's gonna need a miracle, and Walsh is already on him. But it was fun to see that 93 storm through the field on that restart with getting up to speed. But now they've repassed him, and he is back 2 laps down.
it's very unfortunate for him. But again, points to be salvaged because he's able to continue on. Others that were involved in the 2 different incidents that happened to cause the caution and under the caution are not so lucky. He'll have a chance to hold some position over them. But right now, talking about position, I'm still impressed with Muccioli there on the 7.
From it, you dread it, you run from it. Cam Stevenson now to the point. Saylor has now passed Turner and broke his way into the top 5. So they're both
inevitable.
here. They're back.
It's inevitable. Curtis Stevenson, Blaine Saylor, they are inevitable at Nashville Superspeedway. Throw in AF Walsh and David Wells and Derek Hickman, and even Logan Jones. We've got a lot of the contenders from yesterday up at the front here today. The only outlier that I'm seeing in this top half dozen is this 88 of Brandon Beal, and he's doing a spectacular job in this race. For a moment, he held down an Express Motorsports 1-2, but now he is being overtaken by Walsh and Saylor.
Well, it could be a matter too. It could be a matter too, just with the 88 there. And I hate to interrupt you, Allison, but it could be just a matter too, as I made mention about Turner being up here with Hamill running as good as he did. The 88, they may have taken some notes from the way the 98 ran yesterday, and kind of knowing that they were going to be starting fairly all right, that they took some of the notes from the 98 and kind of applied it to their race today. So it's like having a teammate, I think, has kind of helped those guys out. And obviously, I would mention the FEM teammates, but we know they're at the front all the time.
We got 3 wide for the race lead. Hate to interrupt, but there's so much to talk about in these races. We've already got 30 laps to go. And Blaine Saylor, for the first time today, from 41st on the grid, takes the lead. And you want to know when he took the lead for the first time yesterday? At 40.
Yeah, that's I would say that's quite the coincidence there. You see Messi coming back into the picture here a little bit, but yeah, I would say you gotta really give props to Saylor. He knew what he had to do, and as soon as he got the green flag lights to do it, he did it. And now, I think the rest of the field is probably just gonna be having to really play catch up here for a moment.
Hey, did somebody play with the thermostat here at the booth? It's getting a little cold in here. I think there's a freeze that has moved his way into the top for battling for the top 5.
I see what you did there.
The 81 truck.
Well, I don't blame you. He's doing a spectacular job, Vince Freeze is. He started in 12th, and we didn't see much of him yesterday, but he's doing a really good job. In fact, he's overtaking Walsh to move up to 4th. He's the highest running rookie at a race currently.
Yeah, he needs this. He had a very quiet day. Like I said, we didn't talk about him much yesterday. He's having a solid run here, taking full advantage of that shuffle and getting up here where he is now. So
yeah, Bersh's here too. Remember the 13 from yesterday?
Yeah, I think that team with the 13 has found someone here. And Bershi had some good runs in modifieds, and that's what led to the ride he's got now. But I'd say, if he has more runs like this, that could turn some heads for a potential nitro ride eventually.
And also, as bad a day as she had yesterday, having a flat tire early, how about Audrey Anzac running in the top 10? After the run she had yesterday, you wouldn't think she'd be anywhere near the top 10 right now. She's running 8th.
Well, it's almost make that more than 8. She just got past Vince Freeze and a couple others. She's now running 6th.
It's almost as if that run yesterday was motivation for her. The motivation to get back on the lead lap, to get the track position today, and she's showing that, hey, we should have run better yesterday, and they're proving it so far today.
Heck, all three of the Team Duke trucks now running in the top 10. She actually just passed her teammate Sandy Messi to move up into the top 5. So that whole team's firing on all cylinders, although Curtis Stevenson is going to try and take the lead here from Blaine Saylor.
I suspect that Saylor will not be out of the lead for long. But right now, it's just a matter of how quickly he can get to the bottom, because we saw it in the first race. High side's not always the best place to be, and it looked like Anzac was pushed up there as well. And I saw, yep, there he is, 72. LaFleur coming back into the picture here.
Yeah, a couple of people. I see Monaco back there just barely hanging out of the top 2. There's some other ones that are starting to charge their way through and making their presence known.
I see KJ Hayes back there. He was the pole sitter yesterday, but didn't really have a strong day despite that. But he's made his way. He's knocking on the door of the top 10 in that green 91 truck you see back there, racing Derek Hamill for 11. But KJ Hayes having a much-needed bounce back. He did start on pole yesterday, but didn't really have the run to show for it. But making up for it here today, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We see Hamill hitting back up into the top 10 for at least just a moment here with Monaco. But, another run from it, dread it. FPM gets to the lead all the same. They don't always win, but they are a strong team across the board this year in the top 3 divisions.
I'll say this is looking to be maybe a breakout year for Rose too. I mean, he's proven that he can. He obviously was a title contender last year, and the way this season has gone, at least to start this year, it's been him. One of the guys that has finished in the top 5 in all the races this year. So, it's. You say the dread for it, run from it, but hey, they're showing results to get the results. That's why. But again, you dread from it, you run from it. Blaine Saylor at Nashville is going to end up back at the front, and he's going to pull the 66 with him. And here comes that 72, going to take that 3rd position.
I pointed him out, and I did say the 08 wasn't going to be out of the lead for long.
You're both right about that. And we got side-by-side teammate action here. Logan Jones and Ricky LaFleur for the 2nd position, although I think Curtis Stevenson might want to try and make it three wide going into turn 3. Will he do it, or will he be content to push the 72 off into turn 3? Looks like he chose the latter, but we only have 20 laps to go, and we're approaching what should be our only round of green flag pit stops. There's still a lot to decide with 20 to go.
And those pit stops could change things drastically. We already saw it with the yellow flag pit stop earlier with some of the early contenders who took advantage of the inversion, not exactly having the best of stops, and then others like the 3 of Messi here moving into the top 5, passing the 71 of LaFleur, or 72 of LaFleur. He took advantage of one of those stops earlier, and he hasn't exactly gone completely away every time he drifts back.
Interesting now is it comes down to the stop. When we think about what happened yesterday, it was getting on pit road smooth and getting out, and if you didn't have a group of trucks around you to draft off of, you were not probably going to catch the guy that had the gap at the end of the stop. So you want to be the guy that's on top at the end of these stops. You very well could be in a position like Saylor was yesterday. So we'll see which team is going to be able to nail that stop and nail that stop clean with no mistakes.
And if we do get that green flag pit cycle, it's going to come down to execution, and it's going to come down to how big a lead you get and how many laps you have left to hold on to it. Because remember, yesterday Curtis Stevenson built a pretty big lead on a round of green flag pit stops, but then got swallowed up by the field pretty quickly. So it's going to come down, like I said, it's going to come down to execution on pit road. It's going to come down to how big a lead you get, and it's going to come down to how many laps you have to hang on to it.
Yeah, and I just couldn't help but notice as we look at the 72 and company here. While my team hasn't exactly had the greatest of days, yours is having I would say a fairly stellar performance for how hit and miss things have been for your team lately. You got Hamill 8th, Turner in 10th right now, and who knows what could happen with those two as well as their competitors after the pit stop.
We're wide for the lead for good measure.
Yeah, we're 3 wide for the lead as Messi looks for it against Walsh, or against AF Walsh and Stevenson. So, and Saylor, of course, we're right in the middle of it too. You know, these guys all. But back to your point, Allison. Yeah, they necessarily have not had that great start to the season. We had a decent run out in the last race out, I think, with Hamill. But overall, this weekend has been great for Hamill and Turner. A decent day today, although it was kind of mediocre yesterday. But you know, if they could both end up in the top 10 run, it'd be great for the organization. But man, look at this crowd now. Freeze diving to the inside of Saylor. He wants to try to take a turn to see
Hello,
if he can get
Vince.
the lead.
It just proves my point that I made at the top of the show. You just never know who is going to be at the front of these races at any point, and that is what we love about Nashville Superspeedway. This is why this is one of the hot tickets on the season. We've got 15 laps to go now, and these guys are just are not giving up under any circumstances, and this is a pretty solid proof of it right here.
I mentioned it earlier. Freeze taking full advantage of that 12th place starting spot and has not gone away. I think we saw this last year, the second race. We had some drivers who started toward the front who didn't go completely away. Ultimately, in the end, the competitors who were top 2 in the first race, which last year would have been DJ Curtis and Rhodes Gray,
I hate to interrupt.
came back to the top again.
Yeah, I hate to interrupt you, but we've had another retirement since we last checked in, and it's Jojen Stoyan in the 51 with mechanical failure. Tough break for the Fitzwater Australia Racing team. But they'll bounce back at Bristol. He's pretty good there, if I remember correctly. We've also had a couple of early pit stops. We've had Christian Van Heerden come to pit road already, and I think Alan Muccioli also made a pit stop. So, well, there's Van Heerden in the 22. He pitted a while ago to make his final stop, and there's Muccioli who did the same. I think what they're trying to do, they wanted to have an empty pit road to just have a clean final stop and get out and just try and make something happen, because they weren't going to win this race doing what the leaders did.
It's a bold strategy.
But I'm looking at this right now, and we're seeing obviously the mix of contenders that we've seen,
And the 43 being the lap tier as well.
It's gonna come down again. Clean pit stops, and you can't make mistakes. You know, you don't want to overshoot your pit. You don't want to get held up by traffic. That's why it may be a little unconventional. I think I wouldn't necessarily give it the time as much as what the 22 and 7 did, but I could see why they did what they did to try to get themselves a clean racetrack, to be able to tick the laps away, and be able to make time kind of on those fresher tires too, because you figure you get the fresher tires and get the clean racetrack where you can just run lap times and make time. They might be trying to close time by doing that. We'll see.
Because
back at the front, it's Stevenson out front, and Hamill trying to run him down going at 59.
I noticed though that Blaine Saylor dropped back quite a ways. He fell all the way back to 10th. He's gained 2 spots since then. But you see him back there in 8th. And we have 10 laps to go now. Time's running out, and this is going to be close. I expect pit stops to come in the final 8 laps, because these guys have been racing hard, and they do have to make one more stop before the end of this thing, and they could save it to the end.
Yeah, and I think what messed up Saylor was more than likely we saw him right there, that 43 having being slower, as we see like Ayers and having a bit better run. Of course, that's through some attrition of others, but there's Muccioli again, and Van Heerden just trying to see if their early pit strategy will do something for them.
What you were getting at, Tellson, is I think what happened to Saylor is he got held up by a lap truck, got stuck on that non-preferred groove on the high lane, and was not able to get back down. Now starting to look like
he kind of ran on a rabbit trail there with all the other cars, the trucks.
Yeah, he kind of recovered now. He just ran around Hamill there for 5th as lead change.
And it's LaFleur.
Now,
we got a few takers at the back of the field. Di Lorenzo, Kudryashov, they're coming down pit road. And
nothing to lose by coming now.
And it looks like, do we have any takers from the lead group this time around? It doesn't quite look like it. So they're going to hang it out just about, probably another lap or two. They're running out of time to make this pit stop and have enough time to make something happen out of it.
And to see here, Nessie and LeBlanc, LaFleur, excuse me. These guys.
Yep, here comes Messi. He's making a stop. And LaFleur.
That was, Fleur's
and
gonna
Wells.
come. Wells.
LaFleur was a little late there, but he made it.
I think Bershey back there as well committed to pit stop. Santiago's in as well from the back of the field.
Monica back there.
You see, this is the group. Both Saylor and Stevenson did this in the race yesterday and got the advantage out of it. We'll see if it works again for them here.
Oh, but the 99's coming out right.
Oh yeah, they're gonna have
the
the 99 kind of right in front of them. This is gonna mess up the entry.
See if it pays off for them still.
Yeah, they've
We'll compare them to the ones that just pitted.
Yeah, and there's Muccioli and Van Heerden. They're gonna gain a few spots. The 7 and the 22, they're gonna gain a couple spots by staying out.
Yeah, that's what they were gambling on. I mean, granted, again, like was said already, that could have probably waited a little longer to have a chance, but do what you can. You're not going to win this race by just doing what everybody else does.
And speaking of not doing what everyone else did, Vince Freeze has stayed out with 5 laps to go. He's gonna come to pit road, but he stayed out. He got a bonus point for leading that lap. Good for the 81. And I think KJ Hayes, Jesse Turner, Ryan Vasquez. Those are the trucks that stayed out an additional lap. I think they're going to be in this next time. So that should hand the lead back to, I would guess, Blaine Saylor in the 08.
And as we see, we look at right here with some trucks there with the Frey still trying to nurse that truck home, and Fry just wanting a good spot to finish their order.
Yeah, look at Blaine Saylor to the lead, and Ricky LaFleur is going to be his biggest challenger in second place with 4 laps to go. Could the rookie get his first career win in just his second try in his first weekend?
We saw it happen. We saw it happen in Nitro in first starts a couple times in the last couple years. Could we see it in first 2 starts this year in trucks?
Well, we'll see. We're going to have 3 to go, and LaFleur's got about a almost 4/10 of a second difference that he's got to make up, but he's got a fast truck, and I'm definitely sure the heart is in him if he wants to go after it.
I think Blaine Saylor is trying to do something here that we've never seen ever since we started doing these doubleheader weekends with the inversion. We've never had someone sweep the weekend. We've never had someone win both races in the doubleheader inversion, and Blaine Saylor is now only 2 laps away from doing that. However, Ricky LaFleur is keeping him honest, and so is AF Walsh is gaining at a rapid rate.
Yeah, you talked about it like last year. It was DJ Curtis, Rhodes Gray, the two. This year, I don't think it's looking like variety is not going to be the name of the game for Victory Lane, but LaFleur could still try something with lap traffic ahead.
Something else to keep in mind is Saylor started the deepest I think I've seen anybody start a race in a while. 41st is what he started today. And it looks like as he comes to the white flag, he might be looking at a sweep here.
The good news for him is he's got Austin Scott now to in between himself and Ricky LaFleur. That's the good news. So he's pretty much home clear at this point because we're going down the backstretch for the final time. Blaine Saylor is on his way to some history. As he comes through Green 4, he doesn't really need to worry about Santiago or Kadusha to make it to the checkered flag. Blaine Saylor out of 4 for the final time, and he is going to take the checkered flag, sweep the weekend, get his 3rd win of the season already. That is phenomenal stuff from Blaine Saylor, and Ricky LaFleur as well. Runner-up finish for him. That is phenomenal as well. AF Walsh on the podium. Wells and Stevenson keep up their record of top 5s in every race. It is going to be Messi 6th, Jones 7th, Hamill, Monaco, and Brandon Beal rounding out the top 10 at the end of this one. But boys, that was pretty epic for a Nashville double, and what a great way to thank Ryan Griffin for all of your service to this series. You're always our first champion. How was that for your last time with us for now?
I mean, I said it at the start of the broadcast that this race was going to deliver, and man, both races delivered, and how fun it was to watch it. You get to watch the debutant, the 72, almost run his way to a win here, and instead I get to see the guy I called a dark horse last year. Oh, he's not a dark horse this year. He is my I'll say it right now here, since I know I'm not going to be in the broadcast booth the rest of the season, but I'll call it right now. I'm picking that '08 team to win the championship this year, and I know his team probably doesn't want to hear me say that, but he's my championship pick right now. I'll make that pick right now.
Yeah, I would say I gotta agree that he'll be a contender. I'm not gonna be hasty in make my championship favorite yet, but Saylor's definitely a contender, and I know that whole organization would love to have that going for him, because he's already off to a hot start.
Yeah, 3 of the first 5 races he's won now. That is very impressive stuff from Blaine Saylor, and he's now 3rd in the points. And I can't believe he's only 3rd in the points, considering he's won 3 of the first 5 races. But that's just because of the hot streak that Stevenson and Wells are on. They've got top 5s in every race so far. They're 1-2 in the points, but Saylor's not that far behind. And we've got a few weeks off now to look forward to the next race on the 1-Up Turbo Truck Series schedule at Bristol Motor Speedway, the world's fastest half mile. That is going to be something to behold as well. We'll see who joins us then. But until we see you then, from James Ellison, for one last time, from Ryan Griffin, from myself as well, thanks for joining us for one of the best races I've seen in quite a long time here at Nashville. See you again in a couple weeks at Bristol. But congratulations to Blaine Saylor. He has had a perfect weekend, winning both races, maximizing his points total, and he is off to a hot start to the season. Will he win the championship? It's all to play for now.